Alright, our first short revision video is on prime factors and highest common factors and lowest common multiples. First thing we need to understand here is when it says in a nice simple question, write as a product of prime factors, you need to be really careful about understanding what those words mean. Clearly it's to do with prime numbers. Our prime numbers are things like 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, 13, 17, 19, and so on. You need to know your primes. Product means multiply. So our answer will involve multiplication signs, not a list of numbers with commas. We know that. Factors, we see factors as the numbers that can be multiplied to make another thing. So for example, the factors of 10, 2 times 5 is 10, so 2 and 5 are factors of 10. That is what we need to know. So, when you look at a question, it will say on there, write as a product of prime factors. When you're hitting big numbers like 980, don't lose concentration. First thing you look at is, what's the easiest way of making that number? If you're looking at 980, you should quite quickly see that you could have 10 times 98. Rather than doing 2 times whatever it is, 490 or something crazy like that. Look for the easiest way of doing it. 10 times 98. 10's not prime, so how is it made? It's made as 2 times 5. Both of these numbers are prime. So now we have 2 times 5. Over on the 98, we're going to need to jump in and say that that's 2 lots of 49. And 49 we should spot straight away as 7 times 7. Now that's the technique where you break it down into factors looking for primes. Remember, it said a product of its prime factors. So for 980, it's equal to 2 times 2 times 5 times 7 times 7. So 2 squared times 5 times 7 squared. Nice and simple. Look at 56 over here. 56, think of the easiest possible way you could break that into a multiplication. 8 times 7 should spring to mind straight away. 7 8s are 56. 7 is a prime number. 8, straight away we should think of 2 times 4. 2 is a prime number. 4, straight away we should think of 2 times 2. Because 2 is a prime number. So there we go. 2 times 2 times 2 times 7. So that's 2 cubed times 7. That's the simplest of all questions, where it just asks you to write it as a product of prime factors. The skills you then need to use beyond that to apply it to are finding the highest common factor and finding the lowest common multiple. We do that first of all by writing them out as prime factors. We can then use the Venn diagram as a technique that will always work for us. If you take the Venn diagram like this, and you put the numbers 980 and 56 here, start in the middle, the intersection of those two sets in the Venn diagram. Everything that goes in the middle is everything that appears in both lists. There's the 2 2's here, there's 3 2's over here. So in the middle we can have 2 of the 2's. 980 then has a 2 of its own. What else have we got? We've got the 56. Sorry, it's the 56 that's got a 2 of its own. We then look at the 5's. The 5 only exists for the 980. Doesn't exist for the other one. If you look at the 56, it has a 7. It shares that with the 980. And then there's an extra 7 over here. You can check now, for 980 it should have 22577. So it's got 22577. Check for the 56, it should have 2, 2, 2 and 7. Once you've completed the Venn diagram, you can then work out the highest common factor and the lowest common multiple. The key thing to remember here is that the highest common factor is this overlap in the middle. That is the highest common factor. It's what appears in both of those lists. So for the highest common factor, we simply multiply together 2, 2 and 7. So it's 2 times 2 times 7. Okay, 2 sevens are 14, 2 lots of 14, 28. Done. To find the lowest common multiple, again you can use the Venn diagram. The Venn diagram for the lowest common multiple tells you it's all of the numbers that appear in the Venn diagram. All of those numbers. So in this case we've got the numbers in the middle, 2, 2, 7, that we've already worked out. And then we've also got a 5, a 2 and a 7. And that should work out for us the lowest common multiple. Now we said 2 times 2 times 7, we said that was 28, didn't we? Okay. And then we've got 5 times 2, that's another 10. So that now becomes 280. And now we need to multiply by a 7. So 7 lots of 280. And very easily set it up as a multiplication like this. 7 times 0 is 0. 7 times 8 is 56. Carry the 5. 7 times 2 is 14. Plus the 5, 19. So the lowest common multiple is 1960. And that's how you can use prime factors, how you can create a Venn diagram, how you can find the lowest common multiple and the highest common factor, all from that same technique. Once you've had a chance to put that into your revision books, I've got for you some questions down here, which you can have a go at in a moment. I'll pause the video while you have a go for 5 minutes and we'll come back to this. Okay, let's look at the 3 questions that we've looked at for problem solving here. First one, it says n is a number. 100 is the lowest common multiple of 20 and n. Work out 2 different possible values. Now think about this. It's a number. It's going to be less than 100. If it's a multiple, if it's a lowest common multiple here is 100, that means that the number needs to be a factor of 100. True? Otherwise 100 can't be a multiple of that number. So think about the factors of 100. Think about something like 2. Could it be 2? Well, no, because if you had 2 and 20, the lowest common multiple of 2 and 20 would be 20. So it needs to be bigger than 20, we'd imagine, to start with. Otherwise it can't have the lowest common multiple that's bigger than 20. So if it was 10, for example, that wouldn't work because the lowest common multiple would be 20. So you're thinking now of factors of 100 that are bigger than 20. 25 would be a really good idea. 50 would be a good idea. Both of those are factors of 100, and when you put it alongside of the 20 and you think about multiples of 20 and multiples of these, they hit 100 first. So you have to think about your knowledge of factors even though the question's talking about multiples. Question 3 here. The number 45 can be written as 3 times something to the power n, where m and n are prime numbers. That puts loads of people off. My argument is the easiest thing to do is recognise this is prime factors, because you see multiples, you see primes, you should think prime factors. So just do it to 45. 45 is 9 times 5. 5 is prime. 9 is 3 times 3. So actually it's 3 squared times 5. Now you can go back to what the question said. 3 to the power what? 3 to the power 2. Times what? Times 5. The way the question is written makes it seem scary and complicated, but actually it's not. If you just take 45 and rewrite it as a product of prime factors, all of a sudden that question is much easier. And then number 4. You need to recognise number 4 as the lowest common multiple question. And you need to recognise the numbers are very easy. There are hats that come in 12s, scarves that come in 18, and they want exactly the same number. So what you're looking for is the lowest common multiple of 12 and 18. And if you wanted to, you could do the Venn diagram way of doing it. However, the numbers are so small and so simple that actually if you just list the multiples like this, very quickly you realise that you have 36. Now the answer to the question is not 36. It asked us what's the smallest number of packs of hats and the smallest number of packs of scarves. So for the hats, we bought 3 packs to get to 36. For the scarves, we bought 2 to get to 36. And that's how you solve that problem.